The guy moved in late last Saturday night. I know, because I woke up near midnight to him ramming his U-Haul into the dumpster outside my bedroom. From my second-story window, I watched as he stepped out to inspect the damage. He was tall, almost as tall as the U-Haul, and when he put his hand on his hip, the gap between his arm and chest must have been big enough to fit a medicine ball. I considered going out to help him, but I really didn't want to open that can of worms. I went back to bed, reassuring myself that he'd probably appreciate my pretending I hadn't seen anything. There was a knock at my door early the next morning, and you can't imagine my surprise when I looked through the peephole to see that same man. Well, from the chest down. I only knew it was the same guy because I recognized the white button-down. What the hell was he doing at my door at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning? Did he see me watching him? Was he mad that I hadn't come out to help? I almost didn't answer, but I knew I'd have to face him eventually. I prepared an excuse before opening the door. He stepped back and released a wide, toothless smile. He looked sick. His skin was gray and his lips were black. He extended his hand and said, "Let's hang out." No emotion, just the bare words, like Google Translate except high-pitched and excited, a happy cartoon character. As a 6-foot-tall man, I craned my neck to look up at him. As I met his gaze, something came over me. With a strange pleasure of familiarity, like I was back at my parents' house and my mom was baking cookies. I felt the urge to say yes. Simultaneously, I could appreciate the oddness. I didn't know this guy, even if part of me did, somehow. I fought with myself, figuratively stepping in and out of the door as his smile never relented. "Not right now, Mikey," I said. I hesitated, then closed and locked the door. It wasn't until I was back in bed that I realized, how the hell did I know his name? But the memory faded like a dream. At first, I was certain his name was Mikey, but by the time I fell asleep, I was sure that I'd just thrown a random name out. Did I even know a Mikey? I woke up a few hours later and spent the day playing video games and watching Friends. I felt uneasy, but I've always had a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to Sundays. This weird feeling that it's going to be the last good day of my life, like the next day, is the end of all happiness and the start of eternal torture. Maybe I just hate my job more than most people. Around 5:30 a.m. Monday morning, there was another knock. "You gotta be fucking kidding me." "Seriously, dude?" I said as I opened the door. He held both hands out, palms up, as if presenting treasure. Atop them was the most beautiful pastry I've ever seen. It was fluffy like a cloud, but browned and crispy. It was drizzled with chocolate, peanut butter, and caramel. I reached for it and was bombarded with memories as I took the beauty into my hand. I was at Mikey's house. I was sitting at a wooden kitchen table as he frosted a beautiful cupcake, decorated to look like a rose. My mouth watered as he delivered it to me like a present. I sunk my teeth into it and sighed with relief. He was my best friend. I'd known him since childhood. I wanted to give him a hug. But at the same time, my heart was rising in my throat, threatening to choke me as I had the feeling of people watching me from every angle. "Let's hang out," Mikey said, reaching for me. I took a step forward, the two sides of my brain fighting for control, and slammed the door shut. Looking down at my hands, I saw 2 pieces of bread with half a dozen crude slabs of peanut butter and jelly. Some on top of the sandwich, some underneath, and some on each side. It was like it was made by someone who didn't know what a sandwich was. I dropped it on the floor. At work, I couldn't keep my mind off him. As I sat at my desk, vaguely trying to edit the introduction to some algebra textbook, I was sure that I had never seen him before. But I had the memories of memories, like once, in a dream within a dream from a different life centuries ago, we had been best friends. I fought my way through the day. I told myself I wasn't going to answer the door for him ever again. If I saw him, I'd run away. Under no circumstances would I look at him, talk to him, or touch him. I drove home. I wasn't 2 steps out of my car when he approached me. "Let's hang out," he said. I tried to turn away, but then my life was sunshine and rainbows. I couldn't help but smile. Without bending his back, he leaned his face down to mine. We locked eyes. I can't remember what they looked like, but I remember what they made me feel, what they made me remember. I was a toddler in a swing set. I was smiling and laughing. Behind me, the tall man, Mikey, was the one smiling as he pushed me again and again. Then it was my birthday. I watched as Mikey lit my candles. He sparked the lighter with his gray hands, his yellow nails longer than his fingers. On the baseball field, he was my coach. At school, he was my favorite teacher. I remembered me and Mikey sitting in the back seat of my car. There were butterflies in my chest. I leaned in and kissed his black, rotting lips. I felt disgust, but remembered love. "Let's hang out," he said. And then I was following him because he was my everything. He was every good thing I could remember. But no, I didn't know him. I imagined walking into his apartment. I smiled, then screamed. I wanted to run away, but I'd miss him so much. We walked to his door as my mind screamed for me to run. He was reaching for the knob when some animalistic part of my brain took hold of me. I ran to my apartment and locked the door behind me. When I heard a knock, I grabbed my phone and called the police. I told them there was a guy who kept knocking on my door and wouldn't stop, no matter how many times I told him to go away. I watched from my bedroom window as the officer pulled up. I took a peek through my peephole and saw that Mikey was still there. I sat next to the door and waited. "Tommy, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Let's hang out." "Of course, man. I really can't thank you enough for last time." I looked through the peephole to see them walking away. A door opened and closed. Then I heard screams. I called out of work the next day, and a couple of police officers came by. I told them the truth, minus all the weird stuff. They knocked on every apartment, but nothing ever came of it. I'm pretty sure I heard some happy laughter and sounds of reunion when they knocked on Mikey's door. It's been a week since then, and I haven't left my apartment. I got fired, and I'm starting to run out of food. I know I'll have to leave eventually, but what happens if I run into him?